Okay, so this is the deck I'm going to be using in the profile here, and it is a Thunder Dragon deck. Now, I did a Thunder Dragon deck in July, but I have updated it. You might see right now that there's a Red Eyes Fusion in it, and I'm going to get to that in a second. A few things I'm going to note right away. This was from like roughly a month ago in the KC Cup. Was it the month ago? Whatever. The most recent KC Cup. It seemed like a while ago. Anyways, so I did one from the KC GT. This is quite a bit different in a few things. So we're going to go through it really quick. I go through several different characters, trying out the same skill or different skills, just for whatever reason I was changing them up. No real big difference. You can use See You Later, you can use, I don't know, like draw sense low level or high level or whatever you want to use. I just used Life Boost 8 because it saved my life a few times and I kind of consistently needed that extra 1,000 life points. So I got 2 Hawk. Instead of 3, I'm running 2. I'm going to be running 2 Dragondark, 2 Dragonduo, 2 Dragonroars, 2 OG Thunder Dragons. The reason I'm running 2 instead of 3, because 3 one time I opened with and that pissed me off, so I took out a 3rd copy. Anyways, 2 Raiden, 3 Lumina, 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon, 2 Charged Light Brigade, because it's limited to 2, and 2 Red Eyes Fusion. I'll get to that in a second. You might be thinking, why the hell do you have Lightsworn and Red Eyes Fusion in a Thunder Dragon deck? Lightsworn, maybe, but Red Eyes Fusion? Hold on. We're gonna go through that. 2 Slash Dragons, because I got 2 fusions. You don't need 2 Slash Dragons. 1 Vermillion, 1 Every, the second most important card of the deck probably. Samurai Destroyer, which in some cases I didn't actually have in my deck in 1 or 2 of the duels, but I was talking to somebody in the Discord and they said, why don't you have that? I'm like, oh, I have no idea. So I added it. Swordbreaker and wind up Zen something. Zen. Wind up Arsenal Zen. So the idea with this deck, I think we're going to exit the recording and just show a screenshot, because I don't have that much space left on my device to record, is what you're going to do. You play Thunder Dragons normally, but the problem with Thunder Dragons is that they can brick a lot, and on your first turn you can have maybe 2 Thunder Dragons like the originals, and not much to put in the graveyard. And a lot of the cards that you have, like Hawk and Roar and everybody, Duo, you need cards in the graveyard before you can special summon them or activate their effects. So the idea is, of course, it's a Lightsworn package where you mill with Charge, or you mill with Raiden, or you can every on turn 1 with a mixture of all that. And the other idea is why I threw in Red Eyes Fusion. It actually saved me a few duels. You'll see in the coming duels that if you open with a fusion, and maybe it's turn 1, maybe it's turn 2, you get a free Raiden in the graveyard, first of all, because Raiden's a warrior. And I know you can't special summon the turn you use Red Eyes Fusion. You can only set, you can't even normal summon. But you use Fusion, you get a free Raiden if you don't have Charge and you have a Lumina, and that's Lumina's essentially dead without a Raiden. And you're only running 2 Raiden anyways and 2 Charge. So you throw a Raiden in the graveyard, maybe you activate Slash and attack into something and pull Raiden on top of you, and you lose Raiden in the graveyard, but you have the option if Slash is destroyed or you use his negation effect, and you get a free negate with Slash, which you don't normally get in this deck unless you're running certain kinds of traps or other spells or other tech monsters. And on top of that, with the synergy of Raiden being a warrior and Red Eyes Slash requiring a warrior, you can also, with Duo, which I do a lot, is recycle the cards you need. So you're running 2 fusions because you can recycle Red Eyes back into the deck and Raiden back into the deck with Duo, and it just works. Vermillion works with Raiden, but you get rid of Raiden and you can't use, there's like sometimes the deck does step on its own feet, but it actually was consistent enough for me to go through the KC Cup longer than I thought I was going to be able to do. I wasn't able to play to the full extent and make it to stage 2, which this deck for sure could have done. I just personally did not have the time to do that. I'm also going to show you a replay at the very end from a Team APS tournament I entered in Duel Links, like probably in July, I believe, so like 6 months ago, and how the deck was operating back then. I might not have my voiceover over top of that, which I'm sure most of you don't watch anyways or listen to, but that might be something to discuss the differences from back then, 6 months ago, to how it's operating now. And sure, Red Eyes Fusion and Red Eyes and Lightsworn itself might not be the most optimal build for Thunder Dragons, but it's a fun surprise that people do not expect at all. And if you're playing Thunder Dragons, then you throw out a Slash Dragon, that's definitely going to throw a wrench in the opponent's plans, and that they might not have an out to slash, especially with the ban list coming out in a few days. There's going to be no Cockatus and no any of that stuff that could potentially be a problem, and why Thunder Dragons are tier 3 to a lot of people. So I hope you enjoyed the replays.
It's time to do.
Okay, so I'm going to start off by doing replays with Blair Flanagan using Life Boost A, and I don't know if I was using 2 Red Eyes Fusion, but I start with the Raiden. I get to mill a card, and I get to mill a Thunder Dragon, and summon a card, go into Vermillion, and then I have options. It's not a very good turn 1, but turn 1s are somewhat difficult with Thunder Dragons, and he's using a Crystron deck with Brionic. It returns my card back to my deck, but luckily I had 2 Lumina. I get to go to with Raiden. Raiden can mill. I can also go with Every. Then I can use the 2 cards in the graveyard to make Duo, and then get a Dark on the field. Attack with 28-28, and I'm able to beat over the Crystrons. I tried to chain link Dark's effect to Crystron just for fun, see what would happen. I'm not sure how chain links work sometimes with like cards like Dragondark. I just wanted to see what would happen. Don't know why I'm explaining that. Not really important. He gets Gungnir. Gungnir pops Duo. Luckily, I can get a second Duo. I go into Slash, which, like I said in the deck profile, they do not expect. I go into Slash. I go into Every, and that is game against a Crystron player at their like full power, essentially. Was able to beat them almost no problem, and I went first, which a Thunder Dragon deck you don't really want to do. So next up, we're going into Ultimate Dragons, which is the video I did previously. I did a video on how Ultimate Dragons are really good for Blue Eyes, and I get to go first again. So I use Raiden, mill, use effects because I was able to mill with Raiden, go into Vermillion so that I'm safer, essentially, but I lose my mill. He summons, Priestess, sets 2 cards, really terrible starting turn for Blue Eyes. I'm able to pop, go into Every, use effects, or use my special summon for Duo, get Dark to look for a Roar, add it to my hand. I can use his effect to get Dark back into my hand. Use Duo. I did that so that Duo's attack boosted to 31 because I knew attacking into his card would negate and summon a Blue Eyes, and I wanted to be able to beat over Blue Eyes. That's why I did Roar into Dark, if anybody's wondering. So I can hit over Blue Eyes once it's special summoned. But then he's got another one, attacks into my Vermillion, which was arguably the biggest threat. Don't ignore that Twitter like I got there. Then I attack for 31, attack for 32, easy peasy. Ultimate Dragons, he had a Turret, like not a very good opening hand, but I'm just like going over. You gotta think ahead when you're playing decks. Obviously, you know that as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, but you know that the Priestess can summon Blue Eyes, and you know he's going to do it. So you have to premeditate boosting up your own Duo with an effect of Dark searching Roar, searching Dark to go to 31, and then be able to hit over that Blue Eyes. So that's just something that you gotta make sure you're doing with Thunder Dragons when you're playing against cards, and especially if you know what deck you're going against. Like, for example, Fortune Ladies. Fortune Ladies have been around for a while. I started off finally going second, but I got 2 Duos in my hand. So what am I going to do with 2 Duos in my hand? Luckily, I'm running Red Eyes Fusion, because Red Eyes Fusion can send a Red Eyes, which is a Dark, and a Raiden to the graveyard, which is a Light, and I can use Duo my next turn. But anyways, I pull into a charge, so I don't even do that. I use a charge, use Lumina, get it the Raiden, then go into Every, against her Every. Then I can summon a Duo off the other cards that I have in the graveyard. Go for Hawk, use Hawk to get Dark. Attack over the Every, thanks to my boosted Duo, like I said earlier, with all the effects. And then attack for 28. She banishes my Every with her Every, that's okay. I go into another Red Eyes Fusion, I get to fuse into Slash. I Thunder Dragon into Thunder Dragon, so that I have another Light in the graveyard for summoning Duo. Not this turn, I wanted to wait, because I knew he's going to focus on Slash. If I had Raiden equipped, I could have probably negated it and been fine with that. But I didn't have that option, because she only had Every on the field I couldn't attack, because then I would have destroyed myself, obviously. So she attacks Dark. Dark will be able to search for Roar, and then she's going to be able to hit for 3600 with that life boost, having 1000 extra life points. I'm able to be okay. I luckily get into Samurai Destroyer. Then I'm just flexing right now. I summon Duo. I use Hawk, send back my 2 cards in my hand to search for any other cards I wanted. Get the same 2 cards, I believe. Search Roar for Duo. I can special summon a second Duo on the same turn. And I had game no matter what. But I just wanted to flex on the fact that I had all these options on her, and she had nothing that she could do about it. And I was able to hit that Every with a negated Samurai Destroyer. So I'm Jaden, as you could tell now. using Life Boost A as well. Going against the Dark Signer, that's okay. I get to go first again, which happens all the time, so I just summon Raiden and mill 4 pretty much. Then his turn, luckily all he could do was set a card, so I was just pretty much a luck video right here that I'm able to survive turn 1 like that. It was a terrible hand, he must have had a terrible hand. I get Duo, Hawk, Dark, I attack Samurai Destroyer into Wing Karibo who negates his effect, and I'm able to get over that Karibo. So back in when this cup was happening, Wing Karibo was actually somewhat prominent in the ladder because of certain decks like Infernities, which I'm sure he was running, required it. So it was just also fun, good idea to attack into set position monster with Samurai Destroyer instead of I could have gone into every and waited and maybe I wanted to banish instead because he had a negate target monster, but that worked out for me. So anyways, I'm going on to the next duel here. I'm talking really fast, but I have this all fast forward because these duels are long. Thunder Dragon stalls, obviously, especially with Lightsworns and whatnot. So anyways, I have to mill 4. I mill one of my fusions, don't care, I got 2. Get to summon Lumina because again, I'm lucky. My turn 1, they only could set cards or not do very much stuff. I attack into his face down, and would you look at that, look who it is. Anyways, I get Econ, whatever. So he uses Copy Knight. Copy Knight goes into Utopia. My Dark gets to search for Duo, which is great. I love that, the ability to just be able to search for Duo like that. Anyways, I got Raiden back on the field. I can go with Samurai and Every, and then I can special summon Duo, having 3 big monsters on the field. He Econs my Duo, no big deal. I Samurai destroys Utopia, which makes him not be able to negate my attack. Then I hit for 2800. He summons one of his Satellar cards, and I can summon another Duo after he destroyed my previous one, because I was Econ, and then that's it. Satellars were doing really good in the KC Cup, and that's why I wanted to include that replay. Not that they were doing good, but they were not that they were doing well. They were a new deck, so it's kind of every time there's a new deck, a lot of people have to get adjusted to how to counter that deck. So a new deck sometimes will have a pretty decent advantage in an event like a KC Cup, obviously, where not everybody knows how to counter some of their plays or what essentially they can do or what they're limited to. So it was fun to be able to beat it without personally knowing what Satellar Knights can do the best. So we're going against Blue Eyes again. I gotta stop rambling. He summons 2 Blue Eyes 1 turn. Whatever, I summon a Raiden. Then I can summon Duo because I've perfectly got 1 Dark, 1 Light. I got Duo and Raiden on the field. I can Thunder Dragon to a second Thunder Dragon, so I have another card in the graveyard. Then that will boost up my Duo, so I can beat over Blue Eyes. I get to go into Vermillion. I get a pop card, search for Dark again, beat over that Blue Eyes, banish, search, all that fun stuff. Attack for 2700, and he surrenders because there's nothing he can do because Thunder Dragons are awesome, and they're some of the best, like one of my favorite decks in Duel Links, and it's great. Personally, for me, the best part about Thunder Dragons is that I acquired almost every single Thunder Dragon card while looking for a different deck or searching for another card, and I was able to go, hey, I have all these Thunder Dragon cards, let's make a deck. And then I started really liking how they worked, and I had Lightsworns for looking for Blue Eyes cards and all that. So it just turned out to be a really fun mix. So anyways, I start with Dark. I send Dark to search Dark so that I can use Hawk, and then Hawk can go and I can set a card and I can special summon, and you need to be able to have those options turn 1, especially if you get to go turn 1, because I keep repeating myself, but turn 1 Thunder Dragon is not good. So this is a pre-ban list that comes out in a few days. Pre-ban list Shiranui. He's going second. He didn't have that much to do. He summoned Kazuki, went to level 8. Whatever, I got Raiden on the field. I'm going into Vermillion. Vermillion can pop. Dark will search for Roar. With Roar in my hand, I could do whatever. I pop the back row, it's Galaxy, whatever. You know what it's called. Cyclone? Galaxy? No, that's Cosmic Cyclone. Whatever, you know what I'm saying. I get destroys Kazuki. You can banish whatever you want, so I don't care. Send special summon Spectral Sword, Shade, whatever. Attack into it. Attack into Karibo with the Duo. That's okay. I can't do much else. He summons Spirit Master, gets a card. Special summons Squire Saga. Spirit Master will pop my Vermillion, but Vermillion will let me add Raiden to my hand after being popped, which is fun for me because I can reuse a tuner, the only tuner in my deck. I summon a bunch of stuff, go over to 3100 so I can beat over cards. I get Forbidden Lance, that's okay. I got a second Duo, attack into that. Use Duo's effect, banish Vermillion, add Dark, attack for 1600, which is almost lethal. Very disappointing to not be able to be lethal. I summon Raiden, could have gone into whatever I wanted. Vermillion if I added it back. and he surrenders. So that's that. Now what I'm doing is experimenting with bones, and I'm not using bones as I don't have a life boost A with bones, so I wanted to see how consistent the deck was without the extra 100 life points. So I'm playing against Blue Eyes, I get to go second, which is great. He summons Blue Eyes with 2 back row. I get to use the OG Thunder, get into a slash, which he was definitely not expecting. He void trap tolls my slash is negated. I set a card. He alternate evolutions into a alternative Blue Eyes. Summon Sage, searches for White Son of Ancients, all of the fun shenanigans. I don't have anything set up in my field. I have 4,000 life points. If that was a proper Blue Eyes deck, he would have OTK'd me for sure, even with my extra life points. So I get to summon Lumina, go into Raiden, go into Every, then I can send to go into Duo. Duo can attack into Spirit Dragon, which will special summon Azure. Azure I can't beat over with either of those cards, and he has like a protection effect, as I'm sure you know. Azure's been around forever. Anyways, he attacks, my Duo goes up to 2100 or 3100. He end phase summons another Blue Eyes. I get to bring back Every. Every will then be able to vanish after I use a card to get Dark with Duo. Get another Dark. Duo goes up to 3100. I get to attack over top. My Every's at 3200. My Duo's at 3100. My apologies. I have Hawk and Dark in my hand. He gets to bring back alternative White Dragon to his hand, and with nothing else to out my cards, he has to surrender. And it's very, very fun to cause a Blue Eyes deck to surrender because it can't beat over a deck that you're using when their only thing essentially is to beat you down. Other than, like, sure, you can pop with Vermillion and alternative, but it's essentially a beatdown deck. And it's fun to be able to beat over a beatdown deck. So next we got Dr. Crowler. I get to go first. Like always, I get to charge, which is very lucky. Very happy about that, but I have 2 Raidens in my hand, so I can't do much, but I can discard a Raiden to summon the Raiden, because I have Lumina, go into a defense position Every, which is one of the safest turn ones you can do with Thunder Dragons, or Lightsworns in general. So he's using Scrap Recyclers with a Crystron. This is why Scrap Recycler is getting hit, along with every other Crystron card in a few days. Which I'm kind of sad about. Scrap Recycler is a lot of fun for Ultras and stuff. Anyways, he attacks into me with Samurai Destroyer. That's okay. Good thing I was in defense position. I bring Every back, banish the Samurai Destroyer. He gets to special summon Sulfaneer. Summon Raiden, mill 2. Be able to special summon Duo with the 2 milled. I use Hawk's effect to get a Duo in my hand. Sulfaneer will be able to special summon a Citri. Then a Citri goes into Inceptron. Inceptron I can't deal with at the time. He Gear Town, Sulfaneers, and gets to pop, special summon a Fistburn, and then he surrenders because he can't do anything because my Thunder Dragons are great. So this is in a actual scheduled, not ladder. This is a tournament run by Team APS. You may know them if you watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG videos. They hosted this. They do this once in a while, and I was in, I think, the first Duel Links tournament ever, and I got like 3 duels, 3 different opponents in, so like best out of 3, best out of 3, best out of 3. I lost on the 3rd, but this is one of the first ones. I was running a Kiteroid and a really terrible Lightsworn package with them because I don't think I had the proper cards. So I got to use Charge. I have Kiteroid in the grave. Kiteroid was a very good card for Thunder Dragons back in the day because, half a year ago, because you didn't really have that many options and you wanted to be able to protect yourself. So I'm fighting a really weird deck. I don't know if this replay would be relevant enough nowadays, but I wanted to just bring, like, I have this video from 6 months ago. I want to get it like out there, and I thought the best idea would be to throw it in with this at the very end. So I got to Synchro summon with Lumina and Raiden, and for some reason watch the entire animation to Synchro summon into Fortune Lady Every. And then Dragonroar I can use to get Hawk. I can talk slower because I'm not fast forwarding this replay, thank goodness. I can use Hawk to get Roar, attack into with Every, attack into Joey with the 2400 Roar. He summons a monster, destroys himself. I guess he honorable defeated himself, that kind of stuff. Whatever, I'm using Levianeer in this replay, and the new ones I don't use Levianeer because I don't know, I'm waiting. I don't like using Levianeer in Thunder Dragons all the time. So that was that. That was the first duel I had in the tournament. That's kind of why I made it further, because the duels weren't the best, or the whatever. So the rule is, in this tournament, you could submit a deck I believe you could submit like 3 or 4 decks or something. But if you got into a game, you could only use that one deck. But the next match, you could play a different deck against a different opponent. But this one, you had to keep staying. So if I'm right, this could be like a null game where he changes deck by mistake. We're going to find out. Finally, I'm going to fast forward. Using Dragonities. Yeah, so I think this is the null game. I believe I either lose this game or win it. I can't remember, but I might lose it. But yes, I think I lose this game. So he's going full Dragonity on me. He changed his deck. I was like, oh man, like this doesn't count. But I'll play it anyways, and then I'll talk to him about it before the 3rd game because I knew I was going to lose. So that's a very strong turn 1 Dragonity. So I'm able to get Duo, use Hawk. Like I don't have an out in my head right now that I can do. I believe I was playing Black Rose Dragon, so I could have tried that, or I could have gone for every. I was using See You Later because you summon Levianeer and destroy the field, bring him back to your hand, special summon him again, and then he can still attack. So yeah, I lost in that duel. There's not much I could do. It was a very good turn 1 on his part, but he wasn't supposed to change his deck. So this is him going back to his old deck, and we get to play another game. The other one, I think we just agreed to count that game. Just for the fun of it, it counts as him winning. So I was 1-1 in this time, going against his deck again, the one he was supposed to be playing. No fault of him. The way that the wording was for how decks should be used wasn't articulated very well. So he's back in his old stuff. Kind of a weak turn 1, but I normally have my turn 1 to run with this deck. He gets to use Gladiator Beast Trap on me, negate my Raiden. Raiden goes to the grave. I can't do anything else. I'm wide open. If he could just summon any monster strong enough to hit me, that's over for me. He goes into 2400. Luckily, I've got Kite Ride. So again, Kite Ride was very helpful for this. So I had 2 of them. He's got 2 big monsters on the field. I got Levianeer. I cannot do a single thing. This is why I like having good Lightsworn, so 3 Lumina, 2 Raiden, 2 Charge, and the Redis Fusion. So imagine instead of Levianeer, I pulled a Fusion. I'd actually have a playable turn and a follow-up turn because I'm sending those cards to the graveyard. I'll send Black Dragon and I send Raiden. Even if I can't attack, I'm just in defense position with Slash. Next turn I can summon Duo or Levianeer if I had it instead. It's like I'm running Levianeer and all that stuff, but whatever. So I'm able to go into Lumina to get Raiden and Synchro Summon for Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon may have not been the best idea, but I clear the entire field. Then I can go into Duo with the cards in the graveyard and search for a Hawk. My Duo can hit 2800, but I'm going to first Hawk Summon Dark. Then I'm going to use Dragonduo, whatever, and then I have Levianeer. Levianeer doesn't need to activate its effect. I can hit for 3, and then if he somehow survives with something, I can hit again. So that's that part of the tournament. That was the one game. So this so this next match is only 1 out of 3. I lost to Zenmaioh, and it was a really good duel. This guy's name, I think he has a YouTube channel, but he doesn't upload that often. But one of the matches where he beat me, he has on his YouTube channel. I was gonna add it to this, but with the downloading and his upload, it kind of gets really grainy on my editor, so I don't want to include that. But he kicked my butt. It was awesome. It was a really fun duel. We became like vagabond rivals, kind of like sending it to each other all the time for a while. But anyways, this is the first match. I won the first match. Then he beat me in the last 2. So I get to summon Lumina and Raiden and go into a Every. And Every, like I said before, is a very good turn 1 if you have to go turn 1. That's what you gotta do. Every is very strong. So he Heralds of Abyss my Every. So there goes that turn 1 greatness. Using Dragonities, which if you remember from the duel ago, I got my butt kicked by them in one, like just destroyed. So I'm already like down in the dumps. Like, man, he's using 2 power of the Guardians and Divine Lance, and I lost really bad to this deck earlier. So I'm just not feeling up to this duel right now. Thunder Dragons, I got 2 Kite Roads in my hand. I didn't get a very good opening. This is not great, but luckily Hawk can go for Roar. I can set Lumina. I attack into the double Power of the Guardians. For whatever reason, I decided to do that. But I get to do at least chip away at his life points a little bit. He gets to summon another Dragonine. He uses Koust. Koust can go to Barcha. Barcha is a Batcha. Barcha Bartra can equip the Chaos, which can special summon itself, and Bartra and Chaos can make, is it Chaos? Can make Ascalon. Ascalon kicked my butt last time. Ascalon kicked my Ascalon. And then he special summons Chaos again with Lance and all that. That's why there's these cards on the ban list, or at least limited, whatever. Anyways, I get to bring Hawk out. Ascalon gets rid of Hawk. Ascalon gets rid of Lumina. He attacks me with the Power of the Guardians. I get to Kite Roid his Ascalon, which is very lucky. Then he hits me for 1,000, so I have 800 life points left. At the end of his turn, I get to bring Every back on the field. That means this turn I can banish with Every. So Every lets me banish Ascalon. Great. Ascalon can't dance around. And he surrenders because he knew that without Ascalon, and Ascalon cannot dance around the field, I banished him, so there's not much he could do. Then he goes on to kick my butt, and that's the end of that. I should have won on the second duel against him, and he knows that. If I had just played one card differently, I would have won, but I panicked, and I summoned Black Rose Dragon instead of Every, and if I had played Every, or maybe even Zenmaioh Destroyer, I'm not sure, I would have won and moved on in the tournament, but that did not happen, and that's not how it is. So if you like this video, see ya.